here we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Streamlabs just stopped working. We were in the middle of talking about Hycroft mining, going up 56 cents after hours today in just a matter of like a short period of time. Good for them. And then Hugh G. Rection was talking about how he worked as an exploratory geologist for 30 years and that he holds AMC. So that's where we were. And all right, you might as well get one of these while I'm here. There we go. And turn it off. So, sorry, all your chats have vanished. We're starting new, so if I didn't see your questions, you're just going to have to ask them again. Okay. Drew, Houston, will everyone get GME dividend shares, or will we miss out on those shares during MOAS? You will only miss out on them if you sell prior to the date of record. That's it. Otherwise, you should get them in one form or another, either distributed directly from the company, or because the short hedge fund that sold you naked shares must go out in the market and buy some and give them to you. Regardless, you will have shares at some point, and they'll be worth piles of money when it happens. So that's what we're shooting for. So good luck to any and all of you. Still not dark enough outside for after dark intro. Okay. Did the fly kill the stream? Maybe. Oh. Okay. Kenny G, holding stocks long will be a punishing experience. Ironic, since he's holding and increasing even longer short positions. Yeah. So let's say they issue a 7-to-1 dividend. This is from Drew. Will I get them immediately, or will the hedge funds have to buy someone else's before I get mine? That depends. Right now, I estimate that maybe 1 in 15 shares that people hold outside of DRS have legit shares. And those folks, they may get a pile of shares from those legit ones they have, and then they may have to wait for the short hedge fund to provide the ones they need to provide. Hi, happy dog. Hi, little buddy. How are you? Yes, hello, you big dork. Yes, you cannot let the other dog have attention. You must barge in and be the attention star. We get it. Okay. All right, big dog. All right, just lay your head there. Okay. Alex Park, so Houston MOAS, perhaps June, July, or August, and maybe September. Don't put your head in the keyboard. Damn it. You will not restart my stream. Just don't do that. Don't do it, you big monster. Sorry, what was that? It was MOAS, perhaps June, July, or August, maybe September. That's my feeling, is that I bet that there is a date of record that GameStop has in mind for the dividend shares. And that when we vote and pass that thing June 2nd, that it will be perhaps 30 days later. So let's say right before 4th of July. And there will probably be share recalls throughout June by lending institutions of GameStop shares so they can get their dividend and not to pay taxes on it. And then the date of record will happen. The issuance date would be some period after the date of record. Everyone will get issued their shares maybe 30 days after that, so August. And then if those shares aren't provided, from August through the fall will probably be the period where hedge funds will be in default and facing liquidations. So that would probably coincide with the housing market in complete free fall as well. Interest rates at 7 or 8% for mortgages. It seems to be a perfect time to put your head on the keyboard. Just put your head back here. There you go. You can rest it right there on the armrest. That's a good spot. There you are. Yes. And then your hair can float through the air and get inside my nose and then make me gag live on stream here. Not my name. Did you see Blockbuster stock up 9,900%? Blockbuster's back up? Blockbuster. Blockbuster. Where? That's not a graph for Blockbuster. Oh yeah, flying high today. Blockbuster went from essentially 0 to all the way up to 1/10,000th of a, or sorry, 1/100th of a penny, up 9,900%. Oh, you guys can't see. Dang it. Chrome, gotta reassign Chrome. There we go. So that's a steady climb between 10 a.m. and noon. That tells me that like one trade happened, and that now the price is up here. Interesting, crazy. That's a lot of zeros. I thought they weren't. I thought it was only go to 10,000th of a dollar. These are at 100,000th of a dollar. Weird. Weird. Very weird. Huh. Well, oh, you guys still can't see because I turned it on. Ah! There we go. Now you can see what I'm talking about because I am an idiot who can't keep track of all of his buttons and clicks and whatnot. But yeah, up 9,900%. So that expert market sure doesn't seem to know what it's doing. That's for sure. Okay. That's Blockbuster 1. Project Sun Houston, the question earlier was asking about RC's tweet from a bit over an hour ago. Also, thoughts on Boson article. No, I did not read the Boson article. I'd actually need to do my list today after the show. I've written it down. I have not tackled the list at all. But let's go to Twitter. And let's see what Ryan Cohen's latest is. Ryan Cohen. What's 30 trillion between friends? Debt held by public, intergovernmental holdings. So the intergovernmental holdings is usually Social Security, which seems like Social Security and so whatnot's had a fairly steady factor. It is debt held by the public, which is skyrocketing. So, I mean, you could just be talking obviously about the fact that there's a lot of debt, but beyond that, I don't know. $30 trillion in debt. That's a lot of debt. That's where we are. He has a point if that's the point. Truth Seeker, if you have settled shares before the dividend announcement date, they're yours. No word on what the split is yet. Yep, we don't know what the split is. The split can be as high as 1-13. And that's simply because, if we go to calculator, we can do the various maths on these things. So turn off Chrome, calculator's on, there's calculator. Okay, so we have 76 million issued shares, and if the authorization goes up to 1 billion, right? We can divide that sucker by 76 million. And that gives us 13.1. So we can do a 13-to-1 if they want to. That would leave no wiggle room for GameStop in the future to have shares held by the company they can issue later. So I don't think it'll be 13-to-1. If it's 7-to-1, essentially more or less half that, that could create a float of 500 million shares and leave another 500 million shares for the company to issue at later dates if they want to. So I think the 7-to-1 is a pretty good bet. But it could be as high as 13-to-1, and it could be as low as 2-to-1 or 1-to-1. So that's my figuring on that. I doubt it would be 13-to-1. That just seems way too high. 7-to-1 right now would take it down to $15, $20 a share, which puts it in that AMC realm where everyone's like, AMC is better because it's cheaper. But really it's not cheaper because the AMC float's so much larger that GameStop is technically a discount as a result for like how much of the company you own with each share. Scott Paul in Houston, can you please give a rundown on tokenized security offering? I think you're talking about crypto dividends, which is just a way of offering a dividend to customers that cannot be replicated by hedge funds, meaning like a normal dividend would be a cash dividend. So if a company gets a dividend of $1, then a short hedge fund just reaches in their pocket and they give $1 to whoever has a synthetic, and they're done. A crypto dividend may not necessarily have a cash value to it. And if it's issued to shareholders, then that crypto must go to the shareholders. And if it doesn't go to the shareholders, they cannot give a cash equivalent. They must give the actual security, the actual token. And this is what Overstock did, and it caused, about 3 months after they issued their dividend, it caused a squeeze, not just on the stock itself, but on the token, the crypto dividend as well. The crypto dividend hit a price of, what was like $87, while the stock went to like $160. So both of those things spiked because the people who had the crypto held on to it and they refused to sell until the price got really high, and then they relinquished the crypto for a high price to the short hedge funds, who then had to take that and give it to the shares that they had created naked. So there. David Wynn, Houston, what will happen first, MMTLP dividend or metamaterial squeezing? Thank you. May the 4th be with you. It is May the 4th, isn't it? I think the dividend first before the stock squeezes. Unless we see some of that basket action happen with metamaterial when GameStop goes bonkers this summer. But until then, I think MMTLP dividend has to go up first to truly squeeze metamaterial. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting. Okay. David Wu, I work at a community bank in Texas. Your savings interest rate will not increase because we see recession coming too. That's why we are not competing for your deposit. Okay, good enough. Yeah, banks suck. You don't suck, David. You're a wonderful person, but banks suck. Justin Craig, when was the bid-ask spread $1,000? What did I miss? It popped up earlier. Did I retweet it? Maybe I did. All right, I got to go there. I got to go there. I think I retweeted it. Or did I not? How did I not? Crap, where is it? Did I hit the like button? Sorry, searching. Here we go. I hit the like button on it. So, oops, that's calculator still. There we are. So this was at right at close on Monday. So this wasn't today. This was yesterday, I guess. But yeah, $1,539 bid, $1,094 ask. The spread was $1,078. So that tells me all we need to know about just how much the market makers are flooding their liquidity, their naked shares into the market at pretty much all times. So the minute the market closed, the bid-ask spread jumped $1,000. Oops. Yeah. So if you guys need, here, I'll put the tweet address in there, and you guys can go confer with Slowpoke Rodriguez, chubby boxer, and argue with him about it. Okay. Wormfall, Houston, how does aging work if you're going the speed of light, hypothetically? If you're going the speed of light, you don't age at all because you become infinite mass and then infinite energy, and you are a photon. So you're just a photon traveling through space and nothing. You will not age, but you will die when you hit something and your energy is transferred in another form. But if we were to ignore you becoming pure energy, the time dilation involved with traveling at or near the speed of light is pretty insane. We could do like L'Hopital's rule and show you exactly. But let's say you were to be on a ship that's traveling like 99% the speed of light, and you're going from Earth to a star system that's 50 light years away and back. So quickly you go from your initial speed, accelerate to the speed of light within a few days probably, and you're traveling the speed of light out to that second system, going around the second system and speeding back. So it takes you about 100 years at the speed of light to travel the 50 light years there and 50 light years back. And when you come back, everyone you know will be dead. You might meet like great-grandchildren or something, great-great-grandchildren. You will come back looking pretty much the way you are. That maybe, and I have to do the math specifically on this, but you might have aged 2 years in that time because of the time dilation. That it'll feel like it took a year to get to that planet and a year to get back for you, but to an outside observer, it took 50 years to get there and 50 years to get back. So you will be like, where is everybody? Well, I don't recognize this whole place at all. And that is essentially time travel. You can travel forward into time by doing that. And you can travel backwards into time essentially by being in the event horizon of a black hole and looking to your side and looking at yourself from a while ago. But then we can travel back in time by this YouTube video by looking at myself from yesterday or something. But yeah, that's basically the only way I know of that can actually time travel is time dilation. So just get yourself spooled up to the speed of light and start running around at that speed. And then by the time you stop, you will be in the future, but your body will still think it was X number 98 years ago or whatever. Reva Swine, the intro is truly iconic going into Moas movie. Oh man, they should ask. Oh shoot. And why can't the chat just stay? And YouTube, your chat buffering is terrible. Okay, there's the Blockbuster one. There is the bank one. There is travel speed of light. There's Moas movie. Okay, here we go. Houston, some people on Superstonk been saying holding onto GME for like collateral in a bank and having that value being held by a bank or something and then living off that. Any truth to that? What? I don't know what that is. I mean, there are people that live off of their annuities of stocks and the value of those things. That happens all the time. But this is a squeeze play. So the stock price is going to rocket. And if you aren't one of the ones who sells at some point while the price is stupid high and it's going to come back down again, you will have missed the boat on the wealth that you could live off of. So I don't know. You may have to send a link to me there. Unibeast? Mickey Smalls, Houston. If you had to prove market maker signals were real with statistics, how would you do it? Ooh. This, of course, is referring to your wonderful live stream that you created. If you guys haven't seen Miggy's live stream, shoot. Send me a link to it again via Messenger, and I'll post it in the chat here so other folks can take a look at it during market tomorrow. But Miggy made a live stream that basically uses like Python code, and you look at the market maker signals in the layer 2 orders. So we know that the market makers will put out of the money bids and asks, and they'll do them at certain levels to tell the rest of the market, hey, stop buying, hey, raise the price, make it trade flat, bring the price down, things like that. I need shares. And so Miggy Smalls made a live stream that does like 4 of our favorite stocks with those signals and tells you what the dominant signals are. I think what you should do is do like a histogram of the number of signals on a particular trading day, or even like the histogram broken down into 10-minute periods or 1-hour periods or something, and then track which way the stock went when those dominant signals were in there. Because we will see mixed signals. We'll see, 400s mixed in with 700s and stuff like that, or 100s mixed in with 2100s. And So, but whichever one I think is the most dominant is the one that the market maker computers track. So that would probably be how I'd organize it, and then figure out what the dominant market maker signal was at a particular time and what the stock was doing at that time. Was it a 300 dump the stock? I think that's what 300 was, or is it a 700 jack the price, baby? And what direction was the stock going at the time? Next time Cohen does his 100,000 share buy, he should do nothing but market maker signals. If you're watching Ryan, do market maker signals for your buys. Please do. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll get to that. And if you do send a message, Miggy, let me know, and I will. I don't. I gotta scroll a ways until I can find yours on my Twitter DMs there. Jenny or Yanni, Houston, should we mine the rings of Saturn? Any good stuff there? Saturn is mostly blocks of ice. I think it's pretty much comets that got torn up in the Roche limit field of Saturn. Probably not too much there. Jonathan, Houston, would you ever give Snoopy a shave? I don't know. I mean, he's my sister's dog. I have to ask her if she's ever. I don't think she's ever shaved him. He is a hairy monster, though. And all his hair is so fine and thin, it just floats in the air forever. So it just like gets in the lens of your eye, and just by talking or just sitting down to eat a meal, you're like, "I'm gonna eat this meal." And you look down, there's just hairs everywhere because he's just so much surface area, so much fine hair. Aaron Salentine, will metamaterial squeeze to $100 you believe with all the Torchlight shares need to be bought back? I think it's very believable. I mean, they went to $21 right before the merger. So I think it's reasonable to expect that a company that like theirs can go to $100, especially if they're giving out a gigantic dividend. As we are assuming are at this point. That's going to be tens of dollars a share and may result in billions of dollars in liability for these short hedge funds. Wildcat Strike, maybe future civilizations will see a failed stream and second intro. Just think of us the way we think of Homo habilis. Just in my head, how will your opinion of RC and GME change if they don't do a share recall? I don't think they can do a share recall. It's the lenders who recall shares, not GameStop. GameStop may request a share count, an accurate count of their shares for accounting purposes, but the DTCC really does not help folks do that. There's been lots of OTC stocks, small cap stocks that have tried to do share counts. And then they get stymied the entire time by the DTCC. DTCC is just a crappy company. They should work for those who list their stocks and not for those who trade the stocks. You know what I mean? Like, they should not work for the hedge funds, but the hedge funds and the banks are who created them. Those are their members, so that's who they work for. If GameStop could somehow become a member of the DTCC, which, they do have a marketplace now. They might be able to get in there. Be like, hey, we have a marketplace, so maybe you should let us in. They might be able to better understand how many shares are out there. Different Lime, I do wonder if this is truly a dead cat bounce or if it is a Fed liquidity injection. Yes. Park Life, who's better equipped, the Russian Army or NYPD? NYPD by far. The NYPD has a quarter of the military budget of the entire Russian military, and they don't have a history of selling off all their equipment on the black market. There may be some unscrupulous cops doing that, but the NYPD is a vastly superior military organization than than Russia. Russia is now blaming. Someone sent me a tweet today. Russia is now blaming black magic. They said that they found evidence of witchcraft at a military headquarters, and that's why the Russians are doing so poorly and the Ukrainians are doing so well, is that it's witchcraft. To that, I have to say that a whole bunch of Puritans kick the crap out of witches, which is a lot better than the Russians have. So, if a guy with a buckle hat can beat some witches, then I don't understand why a dude with a Kalashnikov cannot. Houston, what is the minimum retirement money you're looking for when MOAS happens? $4 million. That to me is minimum retirement. That puts about $250,000 to $300,000 a year in annuities in my pocket, year after year from this point forward, and I can live comfortably on that. That is like 5 to 6 times what I make now, and I can live very comfortably earning 5 to 6 times what I make now. I don't have expensive tastes. The fancy cars I want are all a couple grand because I want crappy cars from the 80s to work on. So at most, yeah, I'll ski. Monkey Butts food will still remain $35 a month. Right, fatty. So I'm not an expensive person. Plus, if I really want to, I can live the way I currently live, and then take the extra $200,000 to $250,000 a year, and do plays in the market. It's like, yeah. So, $4 million. If I can make $4 million, I'm golden. Anything more than that, I can just up my 80s car stakes to, Ferrari Testarossas or something. Sad Boy Incorporated. Houston, thoughts on if God exists? I'm not a big fan of church, but the whole hell thing sounds exciting. I would, if I were to classify myself into a philosophical and religious taxonomy, and it's going to sound complicated, but I refer to myself as an apathetic, atheistic-leaning, agnostic, deist, Taoist. What I mean by that is, in the end, I don't really give a shit. Gun to my head, if I had to pick binary, one or the other, is there a God or is there a God? I'd be like, yeah, there's no God. But I do understand that the universe came from somewhere, so that's where the agnosticism part of me is. Like, the universe came from somewhere. What it came from, I don't know, but it exists, and we know that. And deists basically are essentially agnostics that, like, yeah, there's something that is a power source for the universe that has created everything. And then Taoism is a philosophy that I identify with readily. Just read the Tao Te Ching and you go, oh, that makes sense. But it has philosophy completely devoid of any higher power. It's just a good way to kind of think about life and problems and live. But my dad's a Christian Scientist. My mom's Jewish, but converted to Presbyterianism when I was a kid. And I was raised mostly in the Presbyterian church. And my outfall with organized religion happened. I was a late bloomer when it came to Santa Claus. And I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. I went to my mom and I was like, look, you guys invented this all-seeing being that knows what I'm doing at all times and will reward me if I'm good and punish me with it when I'm bad. And you invented this thing purely as a way to control my behavior. And she was like, yeah. I said, how's that any different than God? And she was like, shit. And so she made a rule that I had to go to church until I was 16. And when I was 16, I could make the choice of not going anymore. And I haven't been back. But I did spend a great deal of time in those youth groups questioning everything. And just straight up asking about contradictions in the Bible, or other religious texts, just asking my youth pastor all sorts of stuff. And I didn't realize how much of a living hell I made his life until a few years ago. I was commuting back from teaching in the city on the ferry boat, and I saw him. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? And he looked at me in the eyes and he said, "I don't have to talk to you anymore," and just walked away. I was like, holy shit. I had a bigger impact on his life than he had on mine 20 years later. So, yeah, I firmly believe that we should all read as much religious text as possible, just have an idea of where everyone's coming from. My biggest beef with religion is that it's largely a product of geography. That you will believe what you believe because of where you were born or who your parents were, and that's like 99% of people's belief systems. That had they been born in a different part of the world, to parents born of different religion, that's what they would advocate for. That's what they believe is honest truth. And I just don't think any religion is right. There may be pieces that are philosophically like, oh, that makes sense, but overall, human beings are so flawed that any religious system we create is going to be exacerbated by those flaws. We taint everything. It's like, if you're going to brew beer in your garage, you can't let a dog hair from this shitty beast here fall into your fermentation process, because that bacteria is going to compound and ruin the batch, right? Like, humans are that. We ruin everything. Especially when people are like, you know what? I can pretend to be religious and I can take all these people for all this money and get lots of power. The sociopaths are going to gravitate to that, and they're going to take advantage. So, yeah. So, yeah, we don't get too far into that. But if you guys have had Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons or someone come to your door, if I've got the time, I love to invite them in, because I've got shelves of just religious texts. And I'll bring in, Satanic Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, the Quran, the I Ching, whatever. And I'll just be like, Blunk, have you read any of these? And the Mormon girls will go, no, we are not allowed to read those. And then I'm like, okay, what is it about your religion that is so threatened by learning about other religions? Are they scared that your religion is so weak, that your foundation religion is so weak, that you can't even learn about the existence of other religions? Because you'll be like, well, this is stupid, I'm out. That's usually when they just like, we gotta leave, and they leave. But it's yeah. Believe what you want to believe. As long as your beliefs aren't specifically set to hurt others, then I'm okay with it, man. Do your thing. Some people find solace in it. Some people find power in it. Some people are able to better their lives having that organized system, that support, and more power to you. If you have a problem with drugs and alcohol or anything else, and that is destroying your life in such a way that finding a higher power helps you maintain a life free of those things, then more power to you. You're just trying to improve your life and make your life better, and I'm okay with that. But if Monkey, what's with the whining? You gotta stop whining, buddy. Stop whining. She's like, don't talk religion, man. But if your religion specifically tells you to persecute others who are not following your faith, then you're just wrong from the get-go. We have an undercurrent in a lot of fundamentalist religion where they want to hurt people for how they were born. And I just can't get on board with that. If you were born of a different ethnicity, race, sex, gender, sexual orientation, the way you live your life is not directly hurting others. And for religious fundamentalists to go, oh, that person's gay, we need to strip them of their rights and dehumanize them and force them to be like us. I don't agree with that, and I will fight to the death anyone who tries to do that. It's appalling to me that from when you're a kid if you're different inside, if you're gay, or if you feel like you're in the wrong body, and you should have the freedom in a free country to live that life and do so with dignity and respect and all the rights everyone else gets. You shouldn't be fired from your job from it. You shouldn't be, kept from owning homes because of it. Everyone deserves the dignity of being a human life and having all the rights that everyone else is afforded. And just because someone's an outlier does not mean they should have those rights taken from them. So, we've come a long ways as a society, and we still have a long ways to go. And you just have to go, here. We'll show. Oh, Biggie Smalls finally wrote. Okay. There it is. All right. So before I go further, I'm going to put Miggy's live stream in here that has the market maker numbers. So you guys can save that for later. So it's in the chat. But if we go to... All right, give you the greatest scientific study of all time here. If my internet, come on, no, not you, no, YouTube, dang it. Psychology. There we go. Okay, this is the greatest study of all time. Homophobic men are aroused by gay porn. Basically, this large study was done where they took like 100 straight identifying men who weren't homophobic and 100 straight identifying men who were homophobic, and they attached electrodes to their peepees and had them watch gay porn. And 100% of the homophobic men who were straight identifying got boners. And 100% of the straight identifying men who weren't homophobic did not get boners. So, this leads everyone to believe, like, the sexual repression that is placed upon these homophobic men is basically repressing their actual sexual identity to a point where they lash out. It's the I think she doth protest too much type situation. So, it's whenever you meet somebody on Twitter who's really homophobic, I just send them this and they just shut up. Because really, they're waking up every single day making the choice to be straight. And that's not how it works. If you are choosing to be straight, then let's face it, deep down you're not. And that's how you get, repressive senators playing footsie in airport bathrooms. They do this stuff on the down low because what their basal lizard brain wants, and they're trying to figure out how to do it while showing up to church on Sunday morning, pretending like they didn't do all that stuff. So just let bygones be bygones. Leave your truth. And that's my religion. All right, that was a long one. Okay. All right, that was NYPD question. That's the church one. Homer's Ghost, Project Sun, I'm pretty sure anyone can send whatever price they want over the bid-ask chain, and it'll eventually get kicked out for being far from bid or ask price. That happens unless it's set up as limits that are allowed within the brokerage. So like I thought, okay, let's play with this a little bit. And so using Robinhood, I made a whole bunch of like 1 cent bids for meme stocks, but I put them at the 700 level, which is like jack this price. And they lasted for about an hour before they finally got kicked out by the market, saying this is not reasonable. But they kicked me out. But you could scroll through the level twos, and you could see there was others from other brokerages that were able to put those orders in at like 1 cent. So it's a double standard. I'm sure that some market maker could do it, but I'm not allowed to because they've got superpowers and I don't. Bullish on 2020 by 20 box fans. Joe Hernandez, Houston, can a landlord just kick you out to remodel the unit and increase the rent? It depends on where you live and what your tenant's rights are. Usually they have to give you a notice. If you're on a lease, they can't do it while you're on the lease. If your lease expires and you're month to month, they have to give you at least a 30-day notice. There's other areas where things are like rent controlled, and they wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. There's a current fight going on in New York where a man has a 1-bedroom apartment and he pays, some sort of rent controlled price, and the developer is trying to kick him out and he's refusing. So they're trying to make his life a living hell by making loud fans and construction noises and stuff. And they even offered him like 30 grand to move out, but that's not enough money to find a decent apartment for the price range he's in. And so he's like, no, I've got a lease. I'm staying. And you guys can do what you do, but you are not offering either enough money or me a place to live. So, yeah. Rav Frog, kind of conspiracy thought, but what if this Roe v. Wade thing is to distract from a coming market crash or flood the news with alternate story? I don't think so. I think it's just, we are in really shitty times, and bad stuff happens. And I think Roe v. Wade has been, destroying Roe v. Wade has been the goal of religious conservatives for 50 years now. And they finally got the court stacked with their people, and they see their opening, and that's what they're taking it. And I think it's going to blow up in their face, in that 70-80% of the population is for the right to choose, for people to have the right to access abortion. And you can't create a system in a democracy that specifically alienates the voters in that democracy. So I think it's going to hurt them, and it's going to hurt the Republicans specifically because they fundraise on let's end abortion. And if they ended abortion, they've got nothing left to fundraise on with these religious conservatives. And the religious conservatives will now wander the political realm and not be in as lockstep as they were, because they did what they're going to do. It's done. We can now move on to other things. Project Sun, Houston, and GameStop's proxy info release. They state they will notify the SEC ASAP, so it could be the same day since meeting is at 11 a.m. I think they've got to give a 10-day notice. I think they have to submit it 10 days ahead of time to the SEC. So I don't think it can be same day, but it might be retroactive. But if they want to get the double squeeze, they have to make it in the future from that date, so that they can force recalls of all the Lent shares. So I don't know. I would love to see what game plan they got going on, but that's all insider information we don't have access to. Why is everyone obsessed with Houston's retirement plan? Mind your business, people. Because we're all going to retire together, man. We're going to live in like a... What's those things that are always advertised on Wheel of Fortune? The Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville over 55 homes. We're all going to be in there Margaritavilling it up. Maverick, what would you think 7,000 shares of GME would be worth during MOAS? The same amount as like some national GDPs? To the calculator. Turn off the Chrome. To the calculator. Okay. 7,000 shares. 7,000 shares at $1,000 is $7 million. Boom. So you already have almost phone book numbers in there. Okay, let's say 7,000 shares at where I start. Oh, sorry, that's 700,000. 7,000 shares at where I want to start ladder selling at $100,000 a share. You are at $700 million. All right. If you get to $1 million a share, you're at $7 billion. Will you be able to sell that many shares at that price? I have no idea. I can't fathom having 7,000 shares in my account And you know, you can start ladder selling because you got thousands to deal with. You can start ladder selling at a lower price than everyone else because you know that retirement is easy peasy for you. You can at any time just go sell all and then turn off your brain. But you know, work your way up until a point where the numbers look so stupid and go all in and sit in a hammock. You have nothing to worry about anymore. Who cares what they take out in taxes? Who gives a shit? You still have so much money that you don't have to do anything ever again that you don't want to do. And good for you. That should be the goal. Everton, will the color of pictures from James Webb Telescope all the red because of infrared, or will they paint them to make them interesting to see? Well, we can't see infrared, so what we do is we do what are called false color images. Let me, what do I put in? Orion, stellar, nursery, different wavelengths. Okay, so gotta go to Chrome. Okay, so what we see Orion as, this is what we see in the naked eye. We see just a couple of stars. We see this little booger right there. But if we were to look at it in different wavelengths, like, okay, give me, or here, we'll do Orion. I'll just put in Orion, Nebula, IR. Okay, so the Orion Nebula in infrared is completely different than what you can see. So it's Hubble visual, Hubble infrared, and this is the Spitzer Space Telescope, which I think also did a different type of infrared, maybe far infrared. But you see different things come out with different wavelengths of light. And all they're doing is these photons are hitting a CCD and recording, like, hey, a photon hit here at this wavelength. And it gets recorded on a computer, and it is basically an array, like a 3D or a 2D array with like a bunch of photons hit here, none hit here, a bunch of photons hit here, none hit here, at different wavelengths depending on the filters. And then you just assign colors to those wavelengths, and that's how you make your image. So like the Chandrasekhar telescope is X-ray. Sekhar X-ray images. So like these are Chandrasekhar images of black holes, of exploded former stars and stuff. You can't see X-rays. What they did is they took the X-ray photons and they subscribed colors of light to the different wavelengths of X-ray, and then they made pretty images that we can look at them. But we can't actually see what those images are with our naked eyes because we can't see X-ray. We can only see this narrow band of infrared light. And so you can do it with infrared. You can do it with visible. We can do it with X-rays, with radio waves, all that stuff. We're just making it up. So it's not actually how you'd see it, but it's a visual representation of what the X-ray output is of those particular images. So there's more. My friend Eli went to Harvard, to the Center for Astronomy at Harvard, and he was the Photoshop guy while he was doing his grad degree. His job was to make all these pretty images out of X-ray, and this is where all the funding goes. He's like the most important guy at the observatory because you make these pretty pictures, they go into calendars and posters and stuff like that, and then you get funding because people go, oh, so pretty. Well, here's $1 million to continue research, and that's what they do. Vimy385, if you rewind the last stream, you can see Monkey Butt get the fly. Oh, did Monkey Butt get the fly? And that's why I was totally cheated at it, and she got it. Good job, buddy. That's why it's not around. Good job. She is a fly murderer. She is really good. I'm pretty sure she survived in the jungle off of eating flies when she was a puppy. So she is like honed in on them. She knows how to get them all. BW brand, I dug down 12 feet today to get to an 8-inch water main, and the soil clay had probably 40 distinct layers built up over 120 years of industry happening on top of that line. It's pretty crazy how quickly like that detritus can lay down. You know, you'll read stories about some vineyard, they'll discover like beautiful frescoes or something, and it's just, you know, 1,000 years, 2,000 years of humanity ignoring that became a dirt field, and some guy planted some wine grapes, and now it's on top of like the former chalet of a Roman general or something. Ah, dang, just chat. Why do you have to reset all the time? I try to... Okay. Oh, we're way back up there. Okay, buried treasure. Ligma balls. I like your dog. I like her too. She's a good dog. Wildcat Strike. Where is everybody? How do they manage to time travel? And what is it with all these pogs? Your entire, like, you would come back from that long trip to the faraway star and back, aging only 2 years, and you'd meet these people 100 years in the future, and you'd want to explain to them, like, hey, we just went to this faraway planet, we did these things, and all they're gonna want to know about is, like, did you ever know Beyonce? Did you were alive when Pearl Jam was touring, right? Like, what? How did pogs work? Can you show us? Joshua Streba, Houston, do you believe that single X holders have a chance of making large gains if GME squeezes? Yeah. You guys set limit orders when this thing goes off. There's a good chance that one of those suckers is going to hit, and cross those fingers that you can sell more of them. So why not? Zach G, what are these annuities plan you have? How does it work? Annuities plans, basically these are index fund accounts, so like Vanguard accounts, things like that, where you select an index fund that Vanguard would invest in, or Fidelity, or whoever would do it, and you dump your money into that, and it gives you what's called a guaranteed annuity. So that stock price goes up, and there's dividends that are issued, and usually you might get 5 to 10% returns with those annuities, depending on which plan you pick. And essentially, they just set it up like a bank that you just draw on that annuity to pay everything you need, and you can reinvest it if you want. But it just says that, like, you're going to get this amount of money each year that you have your money in this account, and that's how it works. Backs according to Monkey Butt Stink Face on $35 a month dog food. She has a different opinion. She truly has exceptional side eye too. Monkey Butt side eye is phenomenal. She is you are really good at that, you ding dong. Yes, you are. And she knows. She looks at me and she's like, "You fucking idiot!" So many times. Why would you do that? It's kind of the way I look at Snoopy. I'm less like, Snoopy, oh my gosh, you're such a moron. And he's just like, duh. Monkey is to me as I am to Snoopy. Amy R., I swear you did not have a beard on your last show. I mean, I never shaved clean. I shave clean, once a year? But I do, like, just take my trimmer and just cut the beard off as much as I can and let it go from there. So I had less of a beard than I did last show. It's just becoming more pronounced. Sub asked the boss, Houston, do you believe the human body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, and space? Sure. Okay. All right, now we're going to where I am talking about religion here, so we're going to scroll along. Oh, shoot, I got like 7, 8 minutes left. Tony Tran, should Supreme Court nominees wear lie detectors during the nomination hearings? Works for me. Yeah. All right, trying to scroll past all the religion talk. We're going to do that again. Okay. Achille Gebremichael. Achille? Gebremichael? I'm butchering your name 1,000%. I know that. Houston, what is your predicting MMAT 1 year? The prediction for what metamaterial is a year from now? I bet they've got a few products launched a year from now. Their main headquarters and main factory will be finished by then. Someone sent me a thing saying that analysts projected metamaterials right now should be around $6.60. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Their 5-year outlook is that metamaterials will be a $10 billion a year company by then, which should put their market cap at $30 to $50 billion if you're a $10 billion a year company. Especially with all the patents they have and the way that they've been gobbling up other small companies that have distinct patents in their field of expertise, is that they're gobbling up these little companies, and so they can bring them all in and they can just cover their bases for this nanotech and metamaterial sciences, and they can just dominate that market. Josh Pephouse, Tennessee. Happy birthday. So remind me how you feel about Andy Weir, and also what's currently happening with the God particle. 8th grader stomped me with some knowledge he reads about quantum physics as a hobby. There was a book called The God Particle years ago, which I think they're trying to ascribe to the Higgs boson, if I remember correctly. It's like 20 years ago when I read it, and all the physics books are kind of blurring together. Okay, Andy Weir does a good job writing pop sci-fi, and he writes his books specifically so they can be easily translated into a movie screenplay. They're a little too, I don't know, like fast-paced for me. He kind of explains stuff a little quickly, but he does a pretty good job with the science for the most part. Like when he wrote The Martian, it got published like 3 months before the Curiosity rover discovered that Martian soil was like full of so much perchlorates that it would kill human beings. So the whole potato part of his book doesn't work anymore because the soil is so toxic. But for the most part, he does a really good job. Artemis, the one about the moon, mining on the moon. That one's pretty good. They did a pretty good job with the chemistry of how you'd extract aluminum and produce oxygen out of the soils of the moon, the rocks of the moon. It's pretty good. Someone wrote me today about his most recent book, which I don't remember what it's called. They wrote me like, "Have you read this yet?" I have not read his most recent book. But if it comes across my way, they're quick reads. They take like a day. They don't take long to read at all. But they're exciting, and I think they are definitely set up to be made into movies, and that's kind of That's kind of his entire purpose. Like, I wrote this book, it'll be a bestseller, make money off of that, and I'll sell the movie rights, it'll become a movie, and Matt Damon will star in it, and people have to rescue him off some planet. But, yes. The God particle, I believe, was the Higgs boson that we were looking for. The thing that gives mass to everything, if I remember correctly. It was a long time ago. There's an actual book called The God Particle. Yeah, Higgs boson. It's go to Dick Teresi and Leon M. Lederman. Let's go there. Okay. Oh, you can't see where I am. The God Particle. This guy here. AB Books. When did it come out? I think it came out when I was like in high school or maybe early college. Oh no, I was in college, 2006. Why did I think it was earlier than that? But it's about the looking for the Higgs boson. That was the God particle. Higgs boson was discovered in was theorized for a long time. It was discovered in particle acceleration smashes at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, and out came the particle that gives everything mass, and that's what we were looking for. So, here you go. Tony Tran, if I buy a Fiji island, can I start my own country? No. You are a part of Fiji at that point. There are islands that are not claimed by any nation, but most of them fall under the Antarctic Treaty. So you would go to Antarctica, stay making a nation, and the rest of the world goes, no, you're not. Tiny Boxes, Houston, how's your mom? Just checking in. Saw you were alive. Hope you are well. My mom's doing fantastic. Her hips 100% now. She is striding, and we're looking to get her a dog finally because her dog passed away in fall 2019, and then COVID hit, and I was like, you need to get a dog, but she couldn't walk very well, so she's like, can't walk a dog. So now she can walk well. We can get her some crusty grandma dog that gets all the black goobers around its mouth and eyes like all grandmas have, and she could be happy with that. All right, I got scrolling right down to the bottom because I only got a couple minutes left. I got a phone call with a friend coming up who's starting a magazine and wants me to write articles about hunting for gemstones and ghost towns in the Northwest. So we're going to talk about that. Where? Looking. Okay, David Allen Grove. How will GME distribute stock dividend to investors with fractional shares? Would they round up? I have 1.394 GME shares, almost 2 shares. My guess is that when you own a fractional share, you are sharing a share with somebody else, and so you'd receive that proportion, or you'd receive nothing. So, right? So somebody else who has the other, 0.61 shares, they might receive 60% of the shares allocated for that one share, and you would receive the 40% or so. That's be my guess. But I'm not sure. I mean, when it comes to cash dividends, if you have fractional shares, they give you a fraction of that dividend, that dividend in your account. So if you're getting $1 dividend and you own 40% of a share, you get 40 cents instead. So probably similar to that. Okay, we're at 5:45. I got it going. Sorry the Streamlabs crapped out on us in the middle of the show and we had to bounce over to this other one. But thank you for joining me. Friday is probably going to be an After Dark show. And so I guess I'll see you after dark. Does that work? Yeah. All right. Big dog. Medium-sized dog. Let's all say goodbye and wave everybody. I might do a Twitch tonight as well and play some games. I'm kind of feeling like I want to do that this evening. So maybe I'll see you for that. Until then, one of these. Bye-bye.